Under the crimson glow of a sinking sun, whispers of dread filled the salt-choked air as rumors spread across the Caribbean of what truly happened to female pirates after capture. Secrets spoken only in hushed tones in taverns soaked with rum and fear. And Chapter 1 of this tale begins when the notorious Lady Marrow, a fierce sea wolf with black braids and a jaw set like steel, found herself surrounded by the King's Navy after months of daring raids. Her ship, the Widow's Fang, groaned under the weight of cannon fire until its masts toppled like dying giants, and as the smoke settled, she and her exhausted crew were dragged in chains, staring defiantly at their captors. For female pirates knew the stakes better than any sailor alive. Many presumed their fate would be instant execution. For though pirates were universally despised, women who dared to defy gender law on the high seas were viewed as unnatural. Threats to the order of kingdoms, but what awaited them was stranger, more political, and more chilling than death by rope. The naval admiral, Lord Tavington, whose powdered wig sat like frost on his skull, ordered them transported not to the gallows, but to the hidden dungeons of Port Providence, a fortress city where secrets were buried beneath stone and bureaucracy. There the women were separated from male crews, placed into iron cells and interrogated not for their crimes, but for their knowledge, maps of smuggler routes, buried treasure coordinates, the weak pulse of colonial trade, all the invisible arteries of empire. For weeks Lady Marrow endured endless questioning, refusing to betray her crew, but she discovered something horrifying. Female pirates were often kept alive longer, not from mercy but manipulation, because governments found them easier to exploit, offering deals, promising pardons, hoping emotional vulnerability would make them crack, yet most held strong. For life at sea taught resilience flame-forged through storms and starvation, and though guards accused them of madness, they carried themselves with terrifying pride. The people of the town whispered about them. Children peeking through alley cracks to glimpse warrior women in chains, some with tattoos swirling like maps across their arms, scars painted by cannon smoke. And many villagers secretly admired them far more than the stiff-backed officers who strutted through muddy streets. But as weeks turned to months, Lady Marrow uncovered a truth older than any tale. Some female pirates who swore fealty to the crown were quietly inducted into clandestine programs, trained as spies, navigators, or couriers under false identities, their skills too valuable to waste on rope and scaffold. Others who resisted became warnings, paraded through markets, sentenced to public humiliation, their strength publicly broken before final transport to remote colonies, where their tales would fade into forgotten soil. Lady Marrow was approached with such an offer. Betray her network, swear allegiance, and live a new life under surveillance. Yet something deep within her, stubborn fire, pirate justice, refused to bow. In the darkness of her cell she met others. Captain Red Eve, whose laughter could sharpen daggers. Mira Thornhand, infamous for boarding ships with explosive barrels strapped to her back. Young Clara Finch, barely 17, whose first kill was a slaver who had chained her family. These women told stories of ports where they once danced drunk on freedom, of storms that felt like symphonies, of sea monsters rumored to rise from trenches when blood spilled heavy on the waves. And as the days stretched and food portions thinned, the guards grew complacent, mocking the prisoners, never imagining an escape could be planned by women shackled to damp stone. But pirates are resourceful. Marrow used a loose floor tile to scratch symbols that formed a code, passing messages between cells by sliding clamshells across the corridor. Clara bribed a young guard with tales of treasure, feeding his greed until he smuggled in rope. Red Eve feigned illness, luring a physician close enough to steal a ring of keys. The night of escape arrived like thunder. Rain hammered rooftops, lightning cracked open the sky, and as guards huddled from the storm, pirate chains snapped to the floor. The women sprinted through corridors, leaving only whispers and stunned silence. The alarm bell roared, but their resolve roared louder. At the harbor, they seized a small cutter ship, slicing tether ropes as torches bobbed in pursuit. Cannon blasts lit the sea like fireworks, splashes erupting mere meters from their hull. But Lady Marrow took the helm, steering them into razor-thin reefs no naval ship dared navigate, her knowledge forged by years dancing with death at the edge of coral bones. As dawn bled across the horizon, the women stared back at the shrinking fortress, hearts pounding not from fear, but exhilaration, proof that cages cannot contain souls built from storm salt and rebellion. But their escape revealed a deeper horror. While imprisoned, they learned of a secret council dedicated to rewriting maritime law, one that would permanently brand female pirates as witches, granting legal right to torture and indefinite imprisonment without public trial. This was not justice, but narrative control. A strategy to erase the legend of women who refused to kneel. Lady Marrow swore an oath to expose them, to unite crews across continents, to spread warnings to every rum-soaked dock and hidden cove. Word spread faster than cannon smoke. Female pirates did not vanish quietly, nor did they break under iron. They adapted, reshaped the world from shadow, guiding rebellions, funding runaway slaves, sabotaging corrupt trade companies, and disrupting empires one stolen manifest at a time. Some disappeared into misty jungles, becoming queens of secret ports. Others disguised themselves as merchants, slipping forbidden messages tucked beneath crates. And some, captured a second time, faced punishments too grim to fully describe. Their stories swallowed by political shame, authorities claiming such women never existed. Which version you believe depends on who whispers the tale. Governments claim order. Pirates claim truth. But historians found hidden journals describing women who refused to die quietly, choosing defiance over despair. Lady Marrow's final journal entry, found decades later in a chest swallowed by shipwreck moss, told of a sanctuary island known only by moonlit currents, where captured women were rescued, healed, and trained to return as phantoms of the sea. That island's name remains redacted by archivists who still fear what legend can inspire. But sailors swear that on foggy nights, they hear female voices singing war songs across empty waves. And now, as you sit listening to this forgotten chapter of history, you may wonder why such tales are buried. Perhaps because courage, this contagious, terrifies those who cling to power. The truth is simple. What happened to female pirates after capture was not one fate but many, some tragic, some glorious, but all impossible to silence. Their legacy lives in every rebellion, every woman who refuses to be told where she belongs, every soul who chooses freedom over fear. And if you're still here breathing in these echoes of salt and gunpowder, then you carry their legend now too. So before this story slips beneath the waves, subscribe to this channel, because more lost histories wait to surface. Tales empires tried to burn, sagas buried beneath centuries of dust, and together, we will raise them like sunken ships piece by piece, until the world remembers what power truly looks like, when chained voices finally break free.